Hi, this is Isaac C Jones, and this particular lesson is for those that are a little bit more advanced, that you can play by ear, but you may not know what the notes are, or might get a little confused with the names of the notes. So first we're going to start off with the C major scale. So hopefully if you know that, that will help out a lot. So you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So that's the C major scale. Let me just turn this up a little bit so you can hear a little better. There we go. Now, in understanding the names of the black keys, because some of you like play by ear, but you might get confused with the names of the black keys. You have to remember that the names of the black keys are determined by the white keys that are nearest to them. So how they get their name is that you have different, the black keys, because you have different keys, that they have different names for the black keys, and that's a whole theory lesson, and that's something you can get in a little bit more advanced. But so the easiest way to remember that is that the note to the left of the black key, if I'm using that to determine what the name of that note will be, then C, this black key, because it's a half step, anytime you go like that, that's considered half steps. Whenever there's not a note, this is a whole step, that's a half step, because there's no note in between. So when you go up a half step, this is what you would call a C sharp, okay? C sharp. But in some other keys, it might be called a different name, and the other name that it has is based on the other white key right by it, D, and so it gets its name by either a half step, going up a half step from a white key, or going down a half step from another white key. And in this case it would be D, and so in some keys that you'd be playing in, the music would be, this would be considered a D flat. So if somebody was to say, I want you to play C sharp, play C sharp, that would be your tonic note of that scale, whether you're playing minor or major, whatever that scale is, you're playing key playing in, that would be your tonic note of that scale, and it would be C sharp. But if somebody else came and said, I want you to play D flat, it's the same scale, so you should not get thrown off by that. It's the same note. So if I was to play the C sharp major scale, C sharp major scale, D flat major scale, same notes. That's the same notes for the same scale, and this has come about because you have instruments that play the sharp notes, written in the sharp keys is better for them, and you have some instruments, especially brass instruments, that the flat, having the music written out in the flat keys is better for that. But that's a whole nother science, another subject. So that's a good way of learning, of remembering that simple way of finding what's the name of any of the black keys. So if we come to this, like this one right here, if we approach it from going, let its name be determined by the white key to the left, which is F, you should know this, F, then going up a half step, F will make that note sharpen that note, so you go up, so that'll be F sharp. And if I approach it from G, going down, G, it would be considered G flat. So if somebody, a singer or a group you're playing with, they say, I want you to play in F sharp, this is F, go right there, and that's an F sharp major chord right there. And if they said somebody say, I want you to play for me a G flat. You know, we're doing a song in G flat. This is G. You just go down a half step, and lo and behold, a G sharp major chord is the same notes for G flat major chord. It's the same key, just have a different name, and this has more playing, and it's the same. It's gonna, your ear is gonna hear the same thing. There is no sound-wise difference between a G flat chord or F sharp chord. It's the same chord. But for written music, you have instruments that play in different keys, like I mentioned before. Some, like especially your brass instruments, they prefer to play in having the music written out with the flats than G flat. But for you as a keyboardist, somebody asks you to play G flat or F sharp, you should know that that's the same key. And if you're not, again, remember our system. They say F sharp. Okay, this is F. That's F sharp. They say G flat. This is G. You go down a half step, and that's G. That's G flat. And same thing with this note right here. Now considered D sharp, because this is D. D sharp. Going down from the E, flattening it from the E. So that'll be E flat. This is also D sharp, but it's also D flat. And it's the same thing with each one of the black keys. The other two mentioned, and that note right there, approaching from the G going up, that'll be G sharp, and going down from the A, that'll be A flat. The same key, but different names, depending on, again, the music, how it's written, determination of how, or whatever key that's being played in, what the name of that note will be. And there's a whole science to that. And those of you want to get lessons, I have my email address at the bottom that you want to get more in depth with the music theory behind that. I'll be more than happy to help you. And then of course there's all types of books, there's all types of materials on YouTube, here on YouTube as well, online. So there's all kinds of things you can avail yourself to. Now, and the last one we didn't do was this note right here. So approaching it from A going up, that would be A sharp, and going from the B going down, that would be B flat. Okay, and there's some nice charts. If you go on your Pinterest, you can go on there, and there's plenty of charts, because I send those out to my students to help them with their lessons, and it's good to have that, to review that, so this way you get used to it till you automatically know it, that like that. So that's a good way for it, and this is especially for the more advanced, those of you who already play by ear, but you might get confused about the names of the sharps or the flats. For those of you who are new, totally new, starting off, get your C major scale and down, and then once you get the C major scale, then you can begin getting the names of the sharps and flats. But it's kind of hard to do it without having understanding of the C major scale. Alright, wish you all the best in your musical studies.